Hey there, in this video I'm going to show you how you can get started in Adobe Lightroom by importing your images. So I'm going to show you two different ways you can do this. One is if you decide to import directly from your SD card, or the other way is if you choose to first download images to your hard drive or an external, and then once you've done that, you can import those images from there. Both ways have their advantages and disadvantages, and you can decide which way you prefer. I have done it both ways myself. Sometimes I do think it is less confusing if you choose to download your images first to a folder or something like that, and then go in and import those files afterwards. So you can decide what you want to do. But to begin, you're going to click down here in the lower left, the import button, and then you'll see that you have information on the left side and on the right side. So up here, it's going to tell you select a source. And right now, you can see my C drive here. I have my external hard drive plugged in, and also my network drive through MVCC is an option. So it will show you any of the sources that are currently available. Up here, you'll see the different options you have. So copy as DNG will automatically convert all your files into the DNG format. And in this course, we will be talking to you more about DNG and the advantages of that. But for the moment, I would say that you should choose to either use the copy option or the add option. Now, copy is definitely the option you're going to want if you're going to be taking those images and directly downloading them from your SD card, because what it will do is not only create a catalog with those images in them within Lightroom, but it will also copy the actual files off of your card and to whatever destination you choose. So assuming that that's the way you are going to do it, let me go through kind of that process. You can see over here now it says to Christine's E drive, okay? And you can choose other places. You can choose the desktop for your C drive. You can choose My Pictures, and so on and so forth, or choose other destination and pick a spot and create a folder and so on. For the moment, I'm going to just keep it within My Pictures. Now, up here, you're going to see it says Build Previews. Generally, you want to keep that minimal, because it will use less memory to be able to actually work with your images. Smart Previews we'll be talking about later on, but for the moment you can leave that unchecked. I always do have don't import suspected duplicates, so that if you, for example, download half the images off your SD card and then later go on and shoot more, you don't have to necessarily worry about all of the ones that you've already imported previously being re-imported, so that you have multiples. Make a second copy option, you can certainly turn that off if you did have a secondary place. So basically it's creating backups of your original files, and you want to do that, which can be a good thing. You can go ahead and make a second copy to another spot on your hard drive or onto an external drive or a jump drive or whatever. So that option certainly is a useful one if you want to make backups right as you're importing. Now, file renaming. You can leave the files with the names as they appear, off of your SD card, or you can choose to rename. And if you choose to, and you check this, you have many options. And, I think this can get fairly confusing. So, I would figure out what you feel would be a good renaming, choice for you. And then, kind of use that and try it out. You may find down the line that you want to use a different system. But if you click on that, you'll see you can give it a custom name. You can use a custom name and then still the file number from the camera. Create a custom name and sequence. That's one that I kind of like. Also date and file name. And that one's kind of nice because it's going to give you an actual date applied to the file. And if you wanted to, you can also click on the edit here and you can create, any kinds of sequences of custom names. So for example, if I wanted to use this, and you can see in the template here, I'm just going to show you. So let's say I decide to do C. Miller, and then I'm going to do an underscore, and these images I'm going to be importing are shot in Boston, so I'm going to call them Boston, do an underscore there, Boston Harbor. And then you can, in terms of your numbering, you can choose a sequence from 1 to multiples. And it's a good idea to pick this multiple padding, multiple zero options. Some software have a hard time recognizing the sequence without it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that and then say done. Now, extensions, also you can choose to change the extension into uppercase or lowercase, or just leave as is. And you can see here I have a sample of what these how these images are going to be renamed. Now, develop settings, there are presets you can use. So there are some presets right from Lightroom directly. You have different kinds of black and white filter presets, toner presets, and so on and so forth. And if there's something that you like and you want to apply to a batch of images right at the beginning at this point, you can certainly use that. Or you can also create your own presets. And of course, you have the option to just leave it at none. As far as metadata, this is the option where you can actually go in and you can add in some other information into the metadata. So for example, you can put in your copyright information here, you can put in extra camera information, and so on and so forth. At the moment, I'm not going to go into this and talk about the copyright information, but if you wanted to embed copyrights with all of your images that you input, this would be where you would go ahead and do it. Of course, the basic metadata that is with the image from the camera will automatically download with the images. Now, also in terms of destination, so you would want to pick where you want this to go, and so here I have here my C drive, my external drive, and my network drive through MVCC. So then once you pick those, you can decide where you would like those to go. And if you want them to go into a subfolder, you can certainly do that. Let me just pick one to show you this. And what you'll find is that once I actually pick a source over here, you'll see in italics the way in which the folder is going to appear. By default, you're going to create, the images will go into folders that are dated, and so it'll create as many folders as different dates within the metadata of the files. I tend to find that system fairly effective for organizing files at this point, so I tend to just go with the default. Now, once you have this all set up and you're happy with all of the things that you've done here, then you're going to go ahead and import your files. Obviously, you don't see that option yet because I haven't picked which files and where I want to get these from. But before we do that, I'm actually going to move over to the add option, because all of these files that I have are that second possibility, which is that you can download your files off your card and then afterwards import them into Lightroom. And so you don't need extra copies. So I'm going to use the add option since I have copies of the original files and actually backups of them elsewhere as well. And the files that I want are on my E drive, and they're within a subfolder under my 2013. And let me go down here and find the folder that I want to use. And once you click on that, you can see all of these images will appear. Now, automatically, they're all checked, which means that it would import all of those. If I wanted to only import a few of them, I could click uncheck all and then just go in and I can check the ones that I want. You can do it individually, or if, for example, I was within an area. So, for example, I have this one highlighted at the moment, and then let's say that I want to pick images through here. I'm going to hold the Shift key and click, and notice the boxes still aren't checked, but once all of those are highlighted, if I click on any one of those boxes, it will check all of those. And of course, I can always go back to my check all. And similarly, if I just want to take a group out of there, so for example, let's say that I want to not import this image through this image, so I'm going to highlight that first one, Shift, click here, and then if I click on the checkbox, it's going to eliminate all of those from my group. I do want all of these images, so I'm going to go back to my check all. And there's one other thing you can notice at the moment. These were already named ahead of time, so they say Boston, August 145, and go on from there. And they did import them originally as DNGs, so they have that file format. Now, when you do the Add option, you'll notice over here on the panel to the right, on your right panel, that there are less options. We still have our ability to change the, the preview. You can also choose the Build Smart Previews option. Don't import suspected duplicates. I will keep that there. I can make, I can't make a second copy here. You can see I can't choose that option at this point because I'm not using the copy mode. And also apply during settings. I do have the option to apply these different effects if I so choose. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit my import button. And you'll see that the files start to load in. Up here you'll see your progress bar, so that kind of lets you know where you're at. And it happens fairly quickly, especially if you don't have a large amount of files. So we'll wait for this to all load. Notice that over here you'll see within the catalog, we're in library module at the moment here, the catalog, you'll see a listing of all photographs and a number, and then also the current import. So as you import new things into this particular catalog, you'll see that import number change. And there we have it. So these are my images all imported, ready for me to do whatever it is that I want to do with these. And if I were to go and wanted to start that process again, bring new things into the catalog, I'd just go back to my import button and start over.